Live from Loudoun, New Hampshire, here we go, round number 3 for GLSR's Downrange Transport Premier Series as we get ready to rock and roll from the Granite State on this 1.017 mile oval that is flat, and it's a big version of Martinsville, if you will, but races much like a short track. And it's Wednesday night, and it is time for GLSR Racing here on the Captain Esports Network. I am the Captain. We get you ready for 120 laps of racing here tonight. The Whiteriver LLC 120 here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Of course, qualifying is underway, and we'll see who's going to win the pole in just a few minutes for race number 3 of the season. Of course, the season started off at Daytona, and we had a first-time winner, Cedric Ingram. You can call him Cedric the Entertainer, as I like to call him. Went to victory lane, of course, for the first time in his very long career at GLSR. And, of course, last week we did a little theme weekend to run paint schemes for non-for-profits. And in that race, Brian Sutphin with a late race charge going to victory lane in that race. And that sets us up here tonight, race number 3 of the season. And let's take a look as of right now where we stand when it comes to the point standings. Again, only 2 races in, so there's a lot of ties and so on and so forth for position, as all of a sudden I have to sneeze, so forgive me if all of a sudden I go quiet for a second. But needless to say, here are the points as of right now. Cedric Ingram leads by 1 point. Actually, he's tied with Brian Sutphin and Sean Peachin 1 point behind. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are a point behind. It's kind of interesting how that all works, but they all have different numbers of points. Anyways, let's just focus on this column right here where it says total points, because that's the point standings. Apparently, everybody's tied here. Yeah, that's the way it sets up right now as we go into New Hampshire. Of course, the top 2 drivers being Cedric Ingram and Brian Sutphin. I think this is set up actually by the playoff grid, because if you look right now, Ingram and Sutphin, of course, they've won races, so they're in the playoffs, which is a new rule this season. You win and you're in. I know it's something I really haven't mentioned, that situation this season. First time this is being done. So technically Sean Peachin the most points out of those who are not in the playoffs right now. Gortman, Ingram, and then Ben Pierce, Fontaine, Diego Sainz, Alex Bryson there, Joey Lattisori, your top 10 as of right now. So that's one thing that I will definitely work on pushing. And as I thought about it there, showing the standings. Right now, Brandon Alphin on the pole, but the surprise is this guy up here in P2, Peyton Johnson, the law firm. He was fast in practice, and all of a sudden he's come out here and run P2 in the qualifying session. So maybe that 15 might have a little something sporty here this evening to race here in the GLSR series. But, of course, the second career start for that guy starting third, Brandon Macichewski, who is, 1, getting his name continually worked on by me, but 2, as we see, fast and full of speed. As once again, Telder has another driver on his team that's faster than he is. So 120 laps of racing coming up here shortly here in this Downrange Transport Premier Series. Jason Dalton jumping up to P4 to 30.8 over Gortman. As I see Z-N-O-C-K. That's an interesting... Would that be Zandalk? Anyways, watching on the stream tonight. Drift, of course, saying hello. Hello, Drift. Sorry, I no longer live near you, buddy. I'm up here in the colder states now. Hope you're doing well. Scott, whatever his name was, said some good things about your recent flies. That's what I was thinking of. So qualifying going to come to an end. Brandon Alphin going to be on the pole here in his 21 car. The season 5 champion, I believe it was, of the truck series. So he'll start there on the old pole, getting some momentum. Won last night's race in the Gen 4 at Daytona in another series, and now looking to go back-to-back here. But let's I'm going to talk to this guy. I talked to Brandon an awful lot, so let's talk to Peyton, who qualifies here at P2. So who's driving your car?
I had a substitute in there. I'm just on the mic.
I'm just wondering who the substitute is, though.
Yeah, Kyle Larson's in here. Actually, he's practicing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But, no, man, great job on the qualifying and the practice laps there. Obviously showing some speed. You got what it takes to win it tonight?
I hope so. Just going to try and stay out of trouble and let these guys burn off some tires, just save a little bit, see how the first half plays out.
What's the number 1 rule for you tonight?
All right, everybody, welcome to
Checkers
round
or wreckers,
3.
maybe.
Well, no, that's the usual rule, but you have another rule tonight.
Oh, I gotta select my tires.
There you go. I just want to make sure you knew that. So, all right, man, best of luck here starting P2, and just be aware that car sliding up from the bottom.
Thanks, Captain.
Absolutely, buddy. Peyton Johnson, the law firm of Johnson, Johnson, and Johnson.
And it's Celeratus.
Celeratus?
Yeah.
I think I had one of those trucks once. Celeratus. I got nothing. All right.
Have a good show. Have a good show, bud.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. I don't even remember. What channel do you go to? He don't tell me. All right, let's just move him somewhere. He'll figure it out. I'm moving to Telder's channel since he didn't answer me.
I didn't hear you. I got it.
Oh, okay. There he goes. He's going to send himself. All right, starting lineup here for the race here this evening. Can you tell I like to have a good time? Josh and Jake, wasn't that a Disney show at one time? Brandon Alf and Peyton Johnson are row number 1. Brandon Maciechewski and Jason Dalton. Row number 2, Lucas Gortman and Sean Peachin. In row 3, Sam Fontaine and Cam Ingram. There, row 4, Diego Sainz and Alex Cummings there in row number 5. Row 6, Shane Matthews, Brian Sutphin, last week's winner from Iowa. Row number 7, Cedric Ingram, Alex Bryson with Chris Evans, Stephen Miles. In row number 8, row 9, Lucas Strayer, Ben Pierce. Drift and Josh Gagnon there in row number 10. Row 11 sees Joey Ladesseur and Richard Midkiff as the pace car lights are on. Let's see, Tanya Sutphin, Devin Ramsey in that 9 car, going to start there in the 24th position. Lucas Simonson, Matt Erickson, row 13, row 14, Dalton Carter and Andrew Miller. Wait a minute, we're up here near Boston. That's Dalton Caddy and Andrew Miller. Jason Stewart and Tyler Pluff. Matt Telder and Christopher Dean in row 16. Row 17, Jacob Thornton and Andrew Wyatt. Sam Barnes and Jacob Clayton there in row number 18. And row 19, the sponsorship, Whiteriver, EE Sports and owner of Whiteriver LLC, is Mike Lemieux, and he actually is not gridded. So one thing that I haven't pointed out, and again, I'm still reading up a little bit on the rules and stuff for this league, and of course with the other things I have going on, I don't get a chance to see everything and get everything right, and still learning and so on and so forth. But one thing I do want to point out is at the midway point of these races, there's actually a bonus point given out towards the playoffs for a driver. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we come to the green flag. Or I should say lap number 60 here this evening. I will keep track of that as we go throughout the season. But right now, Brandon Alf and Peyton Johnson going to lead them to the green flag, the Granite State. Somebody's racing for a lobster. I don't know who's buying it, but somebody's racing for it. Green flag, race number 3, GLSR. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As one car, Alex Cummings, has gone around right in front of the field. Cam Ingram, Alex Bryson, and T-Bone Stakes for all. He just got clobbered by a couple of cars. Knocked the rear end off that car. I mean, that car is destroyed. Andrew Miller, Matt Erickson in the garage, it looks like right away. That was awfully late for a lot of cars to be coming in there like that. Let's see how this all transpires. A little 3 wide off the corner. Oh, a little sandwich here of teammates. Oh, Cam got loose, being too high off the corner. Turns. And then, I mean, 28 comes in there hot. 74 clobbers them. That 63 is destroyed. I mean, the rear end's pushed in over on the right. All right, let's little 28's view here. I mean, there's the smoke. And bam, right in front of him. 74 comes piling there also. Right in your living room. Unfortunately, caution out for the first time. Often in the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown paint scheme tonight. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, unfortunately, all three of those cars involved are behind the wall getting damaged. Actually, Alex Cummings is somehow back on track. I mean, forget the fact that he has no rear spoiler. I mean, how's he able to drive that thing? I mean, he'd still be faster than Telder, but, I mean, geez. So we come to the green. "21 viewers. Appreciate you guys tonight watching. 20 if you count Telder, who's in the car right now. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you're a previous viewer who always watches, we appreciate you joining us here on the Captain Esports Network. And make sure you tell your friends as Brandon Alphin leads them back to the green. Womp, 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 womp into turn one. Got to let these tires get up to speed, and one more car heading for the infield. That is drift into the inside wall. No caution, and that motor's toast. Drivers are getting too tight through the middle of the corner, carrying too much speed, and that's what's causing them to slip up and lose the grip off. Very easy to do on cold tires. And for the first lap tonight, we actually make it through turn two. Poor drift became the victim of circumstances right here. We look at the replay. The outside of the 29 car of Midkiff. And Midkiff just gets high, slides down into the 14. And unfortunately, that barrier down there is very dangerous, apparently, from what I've been understanding. And as you see, it blew his motor really quickly. First battle on track. Last week's winner, Brian Sutphin, inside of the Peachin Hut car of Sean Peachin. Speeds up to about 150 mile an hour down to turn one. Slow to about, what, 90 to 95, depending on how much speed you want to carry through. And it's like I said, it races a lot like a short track. Everybody pretty much lined up for the most part. See a little bit double five. One driver driving all the way to Boston to the inside there, the 94 car. Ben Pierce. I mean, I guess if there's any way you can get around that track, go down there. The Gradient Concepts number 94s. He's got his former teammate Lucas Strayer to his outside. I mean, I did see a race in another league where somebody ran down there and found a lot of grip. Uh-oh. What happened to Manchechesky? Oh, he blinked out. Okay, I was like, why'd he fall down the grid? As Telder and Brandon's having some mean issues right now, trying to get it fixed up as Telder passes his fellow Canadian friend, Joey Ladesseur. '39 car there behind him of Tyler Pluff. as these two continue to battle. Sean drives underneath, almost gets a little tight there. Sutphin had to slide up the track. Now, unlike real life, that part of the track up there where Sutphin is, you can actually get a good run off that corner. And you see right there, he carries the speed off. You get up there in real life, that car is almost in the wall automatically. It's one of the unique things about New Hampshire on this sim. You see how much Brian had to wait just to get back to the throttle off turn 2. Over the bumps there in turn 3, which you got to be very careful not to wheel hop. You see Fontaine, that outside lane, making it work to his outside of his teammate there, Dalton. That bottom section of the track, down below that first strip of lines, is actually degreed at 2 degrees, where the rest of the track's at 6. So it's a little bit of progressive banking here. And unfortunately for Drift, his night is over early on lap number 5. And from what I hear, he will be cooking some barbecue up on the hill and on the back straightaway there here in a little bit. So appreciate Drift doing that. "15 laps complete. Dolphins let them all, but Peyton Johnson is not letting them get away." This 15 is going to hope to see a lot of short track, flat track racing here if he keeps running like this. As Cam Ingram's on pit road. Unscheduled pit stop for the 5. Wonder if you blew a motor. You got some nose damage there. So tough start to the 5's races. Inside comes Brian Sutphin on Fontaine now. Dalton and Gortman battling up here 4th and 5th right now. Gortman with a completely blank number 62 car, which kind of shocks me. If you're a business... Oh, no! They almost hit each other. Good job staying off. Gortman tried to get in there a little early, and Dalton turned in late. I was about to say, if you're somebody running a business out there right now, I mean, hello, there's a car you could put your name on. Runs up here in the top 5, I think, every week so far, these first 3 races. So Dalton's going to go by. There goes Fontaine on by for position. Up here for the lead, Peyton Johnson. Inside and clear of the pool boy. So he becomes the second leader of this Whiteriver LLC 120 here at New Hampshire. Check back here a little bit. Richard Midkiff, that 29 car, battling with the 1 of Jacob Clayton, Shane Matthews, and 1 car heading for a hot pocket to the bottom there. Track position is the key here at New Hampshire. It is very hard to pass. Sometimes you have to make some people mad in order to make the passes around this track, but I think one strategy that's going to come into play here in just a little bit is the tires, because tire wear is big and the undercut is big, and you only really need one stop to get to the finish of this race. However, got to see how the truck tire or the tires are going to be on this car. So just to clarify, a little bit ago, I talked about the win and in situation for Cedric Ingram and also for Brian Sutphin. As part of that rule in the series this season, you cannot miss more than 2 races. So basically, within these 10 races that set up the playoffs, you cannot miss more than 2 of those 10. And if you do, then it eliminates you from eligibility, as Lucas Strayer might need a tinfoil hat. So kind of want to point that out, obviously. But as I said, the halfway point, you get a bonus point there if you're leading this race. And then, of course, the race winner gets 5, regular season champ 15. And then pretty much from there follows what would be the NASCAR version of the points, if you will. And they do have 2 provisionals, by the way, to use. So I don't know how. I'll have to check with Sean Peachin or one of those guys, the admin's Tyler Brewer, to see how that works when it comes to the provisionals compared to not being at a race. If you use caution is out. We'll get to that here in a simple minute, as Andrew Wyatt and Christopher Dean have gone around on the back straightaway as Wyatt tows himself back to the pits. The 48 also involved. And the Dean machine up in smoke. Caution number 2 on the track. This is probably going to bring the leaders to pit road. Oh, 13 got the wall, and Dean nowhere to go. And they all joined drift in the turn 2 infield barriers. All right, we'll come back to the replay, but right now, some leaders coming to pit road. Looks like Johnson and Maciejewski staying out. Strayer going to stay out. It looks like they're in third, as he's actually got his own issues right now with the internet that he might have to try to find out, figure out what's going on. Joey Ladisort staying out, but others here in the pits. So we're really going to see how quickly here these tires play a role. Often easily winning the race off pit road here. So Peyton Johnson doing his part here, leading some laps. And I'm going to have to check the history books here and see if, I mean, obviously I don't have much of the history books anymore, but at least I got these last 2 seasons to see how many laps Peyton has actually led. So I'm just listening to the admins talk here for a second as Johnson and Matt Jacheski going to be on the front row here, and then Lucas Strayer basically is in a spot where if his stuff keeps having issues, they're going to move him off. I mean, they're going to allow him to stay on the track. He's just going to have to pretty much get away from that P3 position. So it looks like Calamity Corner right now being turned 2 on this 1 mile track. Hosted its first NASCAR race back in 1993. Strayer blinks out another big time here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull off here in a second and just get out of the way of the field here as we come to the green flag. And yep, Strayer pulls down. Here we go. Very tough move to make there. But classy move there on Strayer's part. 3 wide off turn 2. And we got a wreck in the back. Couple cars getting together. I see Cedric Ingram with some damage. I see the one with some damage. And there's still 3 and almost 4 wide here through 3 and 4. Miles clears himself a lot of sore and Peachin. Chris Evans there in a 00. As already Alphin up to the 2nd spot. Ian Fontaine, the fresh tires coming up through the field. And I mentioned that was Jason Dalton a second ago involved. That was actually Tanyan Sutphin in the 7. I got it mixed up with that. Uh-oh. Telder in the wall. Caution 3 on the track. He and Sutphin were battling. And Telder just gets hooked, it looks like. That sucks for the Grand Rapids driver. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. They almost touch right there. Looks like Sutphin goes to tuck in line behind Telder and just unfortunately gets in the back of him. Misjudges. Unfortunately, that is a busted C4 can right there. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like Brian just went to tuck in behind Telder maybe or something, and just unfortunately hook job. Or as Telder says in chat, a talentless bleeping idiot. How do you spell idiot? That's a new one. It's a idiot. Is that like the equivalent of Idaho and Idaho? Am I allowed to say Idaho? Anyways. So just shy of a third into this race. Alphen did get the lead. And that is because while we were showing those replays, the leader came to pit road there, Peyton Johnson and others. And Peyton's got the restart way back here in the 25th position. After the 4 tires and fuel. I'm going to silence myself for just a second. Be right back. All right, off turn number 4. Here they come to the green. At lap 34, Brandon Alphen, Fontaine, Dalton, these guys all pitted at the last caution. They take the green flag here. Still got a couple of cars that have not pitted at all. And that being Matt Chechescu's here in the 4th position as he's now under attack from the 93. You've got also the 23 car, Joey Ladisor, that is not pitted for tires. As Peachin and Sutphin battle side by side, and Miles roughing up Evans there a little bit there. A little knife edge chop from the Ric Flair drip. As here comes Fontaine to the inside for the lead. He'll send it in there. Almost slide job himself. Here comes Alphen. And you see that transition to banking, but Fontaine to the lead, and that might be trouble for these guys. A lot of people said it might be his race to lose tonight. Like Dalton looking inside. Matter of fact, Fontaine just ran the fastest lap of the race, making a pass for the lead. So that's pretty impressive. 3 wide back here. Ben Pierce, top side. Matt Chechesky there in the middle. Evans able to clear up there in front, and you see Sutphin tucking in behind, and you see the 39 there of Tyler Pluff. Josh Gagnon there to PRG Gear, number 79. And we're going to keep an eye on this 15 car. He's been pretty fast. Led this race a little bit ago and pitted under last caution, restarted 25th, already up to the 19th position. And, of course, as these tires wear out just a little bit, it is going to get tougher and tougher to pass for this number 15 of Peyton Johnson. He just needs to use patience here and just slowly work his way through. Still got plenty of laps to go, coming up on, 80 next time by. Still got 1 pit stop to go in this race. So still plenty of opportunity to gain positions. He goes inside the 88 car and passes Shane Matthews. 4th position. Next up will be Jacob Thornton in that 11 car. As Gortman making a move inside. of not only Diego Sainz, but inside of Dalton as Alfin starts to come back at Fontaine for position. Oh, caution, Joey Ladassour's gone around. Over in turn 1, got some heavy nose damage. Oh, and Tanyan Sutphin with a late hit. And caution number 4 out. What happened to Sammy B? Or I'm sorry, to Joey Ladassour. Sorry, I see Sammy's involved. And there's Peyton. Oh, the 11 slides. Oh, no. And the 18 and 22 get involved. And then late in there comes Tanyan. It's the second time I've seen a car come in really late and make contact. And in the words of Joey Ladassour, fan-freaking-tastic. All right, so we're at the 1/3 distance mark here. And more cars on pit road. Maciejewski. And cars that have not pitted yet coming in, plus some cars maybe in for damage to get fixed and that kind of thing. You see Cedric Ingram, your Daytona winner. I'm going to bring up my screen here for a second. I want to fix something. So while we got a break in the action, let's take a look at the schedule. Next week, we hit the dirt of Eldora. And I don't know if the streak is still going, but every time we hit the dirt, it seems like it's the Alex Cummings show. So we'll see how that goes here next week at Eldora. And these cars, it'll be the first time I've ever seen a Xfinity car on dirt. So that'd be interesting to see how that works out. 200 laps at Bristol the following week. And then as we go into November, and then Chicagoland, then we hit the street circuit at Chicago. Indianapolis, Rockingham, Michigan, and the All-Star race at the end of December. So a very diverse schedule. All right, so 75 laps to go, so we're almost in the window here now. With cautions, you start wondering here, when do you go off strategy and maybe come to pit road, put a set of tires on, put fuel in, and take this car maybe to the finish and see what kind of track position you can grab from this. I mean, you look at those guys in the mid-pack. I mean, if you're going to do something different in this race, you got to do something different. Strategy-wise is back to the green. Fontaine leads them. As they say, you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader the whole race. Unless you're faster than them, which not many people can say they're faster than Sam Fontaine at some places. Down into turn 3. Pierce got a little wide there, able to get it back in the groove there as he battles with Evans, and Stephen Miles there behind him, 8th position. These two have been kind of stuck together all night, Dalton and the 62 of Gortman. There's Peyton Johnson back up to 13th, so he's getting exactly what he needs. He's getting cautions to help him make the moves. And move him up to the 12th position, so he just continues to slowly climb his way up. Miles going to clear Pierce off of turn 4. Ooh, Evans up the track, pushes Pluff up, and here comes Johnson. Buy one, get one for the 15. All right, there's something about that car tonight. That thing is flying. Looking back to signs from Peachin as you see Peyton make the move on Miles now. I mean, everybody's moving up the track, and you watch Peyton down there at the bottom just able to rotate the corner. And it seems like he's able to get in pretty good on entry, which is actually pretty tricky at this track, especially right here where the bumps are, where the cars go over the track and into the infield as part of a motorcycle road course. Actually, the other way around, from the infield out. Lucas Strayer looks like he's fixed his internet or whatever his lag issue was. And there goes the 41 inside the 00 for the 13th position. So remember, during the last caution, he actually went to the back on a restart. Somebody's chastaining the outside wall off turn 2. I think that might have been the 3 of Dalton Carter. It was not Carter. That car's too clean. It might have been Sammy Barnes, who's down here dropping a hot pocket somewhere. Yeah, there's the right side scruffed up car. Sam running an actual special paint scheme tonight from what he shared with me in chat. He is, since he missed a charity race last week, his foundation's the Alliance for the Great Lakes. And he's running on that car. Unfortunately, it's had an alliance with the wall at one point or two tonight. Strayer continues to roll up here through the field. Now, he might have taken tires at the lap 42 stop here, so he might have the freshest of them all. as of right now. So Strayer up to 9th after working his way to the top 3 just a little bit ago. And then, unfortunately, his lag came into play and had to fall to the back on a restart. As Johnson looking now the inside of the 2 car. Yeah, I thought as his tires would wear out, they'd be a lot harder to pass, but Peyton is just going through the field here like a knife on butter. Yes, I know it's an old analogy, but it's the first one that came to my head. And we are coming up on a halfway point here in 4 laps, so somebody's going to get a bonus point here in a second towards the playoffs. So Johnson up to the 4th position. As we jump back here to 13th, the 93 of Achachescu's slowly falling back a little bit there with Gagnon and Pierce, a couple of Mustangs right here working with each other. Or if you will, horsing around. So Fontaine leads here as we will be coming to halfway this time by. Yeah, I'm noticing it's having some issues here. I don't know what the deal is. As we come off turn number 4. And Fontaine will get the bonus point for leading at halfway. So congratulations to him on that. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It's got it in red right now on my screen. I'm watching it. Well, no, it's still in red over here on my side, but thank you for letting me know that. It allows me to peek over and kind of see what's going on. And every once in a while it does that. We know how the internet is. It's never the cleanest. Up here, the law firm making moves. To second he goes. Peyton Johnson about to jump up here to winner's list. Trying to put himself in the playoffs. As now Dalton to the inside of Alphen. So Brandon's car obviously falls off in the long run here. And not only that, there's Lucas Strayer on the freshest tires, I think, of the whole group right now in that 41 car. Lucas going to dive it in 3 wide. Jason thinks better of it, just kind of yields out. Now, just a note here, as we watch this battle now for the lead, Johnson only has like 7 lap fresher tires, And you got to remember, a couple of those laps were under caution before the green flag came out before on the restart before. So Sam Fontaine's only got maybe 4 lap fresher or older tires here. And Johnson is literally driven through the field and caught the 77. Fontaine, or not Fontaine, but Strayer, I can totally understand because his stop was almost 18 laps later. But whatever the 15 had this morning for breakfast, I want some. And I swear if it's the Fruity Pebble candy bars I'm seeing in stores now for Halloween, I'm going to have a problem. Fontaine might be the toughest guy to pass in this league. Giving him a fight on that outside lane. Fontaine might be tougher to pass in a driving test. Johnson's clear if he slides up there, but he allows Fontaine to kind of get back to his outside. He should be able to slide up right here. He's got him. So Peyton Johnson back to the lead, lap 67. Big Daddy Cool Johnson there in the lead. Fontaine back to second, Strayer back to third, and these two back here again battling for fourth. And Dalton going to go by Gortman. So the way I'm looking at things right now, Peyton Johnson pitted at 31 as I'm going to bring up the pit board here in just a second. And you will see where everybody came to pit road in the top 10 there. Johnson at lap 31, Fontaine at 24. Then you see Strayer at 42, Matt Jacheski back there in 6th on 42. And I assume all those guys took tires right there. So if you're Fontaine, if you're Dalton, if you're Gortman, if you're Peachin, Miles, Alphin, Sutphin, those guys there, you're probably looking, I would say, maybe the next 10 to 15 laps, you're probably coming to pit road somewhere in there to get tires and fuel. You can go about 70 or so on a tank, but the tire wear seems to be the major talk. As we jump up here for second, Strayer looking inside. These guys just being very careful on throttle coming off the corners. This car can easily spin around. Let's jump back here as two good friends battling it out for position. Sarcasm there. Sutphin and Alphin. As Alphin's tires have gone bye-bye. As here we go, Lucas Gortman coming to pit road at 74. This is a little earlier than I expected. Cortman and the insert sponsor here, number 62. 4 Tires and Fuel. And of course, now he's got to be very careful here, and he needs this race to stay green. As the leaders are going by right now to put him a lap down. We wonder if that's going to open the door up here for other drivers to come to pit road, or are we going to see these guys stay out a little bit longer? As you see Strayer now starting to even out with the field. So I think the tires maybe starting to plateau with some of these cars. Now Sutphin looking low inside of Miles. All right, Ben Pierce coming in. Pretty easy entry for his pit stall there, as he has a open box there behind him. That should be 4 Tires and Fuel for the 94. And he pulls away, good stop, 14.6. Meanwhile, up here, Maciejewski starting to make his moves now. He's gone by the 2 car for 4th. 3.1 seconds back as he saved his tires enough to make a run up here at the front. As there you see Gortman on the fresh tires. So next week for these guys, if you want to see something that I honestly have not seen before, the B car or Xfinity car, or here it's the Downrange Transport Premier car on dirt next Wednesday night at Eldora. We'll have it for you at 8:45 Eastern time. And Brandon Alphin cueing the mic saying, "I'm coming in, boys." This pumpkin here's got some worn out wheels, and here he comes to pit road. Sean Peach and Brian Sutphin, Josh Gagnon on pit road also here. Evans and Devin Ramsey. And that there is a fuel-only stop for Alphin, I believe. That's an interesting call on the 21 spot right there. You know, and he's not the only one. Let's see, Dalton. Well, that was at 43. So never mind. I was about to say Dalton Carter did the same thing, but that appeared to be earlier under caution. Tyler Pluff coming to pit road in the 39 car. As you see, trying to see what that yellow car there for a second, who that is on pit road. As I still learn the names of people around here. As Fontaine comes to pit road, so here comes P2. So Fontaine, who led the halfway point here tonight, got himself a bonus point. And the KJD2 Racing number 79 going to pull away 14.8 there as the leader is in. Looking for his first GLSR win. Peyton Johnson coming down pit road. And caution comes out. And it looks like the 9 of Devin Ramsey has gone around on the back straightaway in the 9 car. And let's see how this affects Peyton. Went ahead and went through his pit stall, so he did not stop. So it's going to hurt him track position-wise, but he's not going to lose a lap, which is the best of a bad situation. But Peyton Johnson spins around, brings the 5th caution out. And for Brandon Alphin and others, Peyton just got too loose, or I'm sorry, Devin did. Those fresh tires had got tight off the corner, got tight through the center and then slid off. Very easy to do with these newer tires. Now, as the leaders all come in, more tires and fuel. Lucas Strayer. So Lucas Gortman actually stays out. Peyton Johnson's second right now, but I'm hearing through audio that Peyton's having some issues where it's not letting him pit. Let's see if it opens this time. Okay, it must have just opened for him here. So he's coming to pit road. So basically what it's doing is it looks like it's almost placing him with like the lap down cars, even though he is on the lead lap. And he comes to pit road now. So he's going to be the last car in the lead lap once again, restarting a race with 35 laps to go here. So that's almost like being a lap down pretty much, unfortunately for him. And that's just the way iRacing's calling it. Brandon Alphin on pit road. So Gortman leading here at lap number 85. Will go green, 35 laps to go. Looks like we have one to go this time by, and we are going to have a lot of wave rounds, it looks like. Pretty much everybody that came to pit road. There go all the lap cars that are taking the wave around to get back on the lead lap. So that would be Fontaine, Peachin, Dalton, Sutphin, Tyler Pluff, Ben Pierce, Chris Evans, Lucas Gagnon, Lucas Simonson, and maybe a few others at least. And I'm pretty sure they are not going to get to the pace car before this green comes out. So let's see if they wave the green off as Matt Telder joins after a pretty good amount of time on pit road, I think. As we come to the green flag here, pace car pulls off, so we're going for it. Gortman and Strayer up there. So Strayer past Gortman with the fresher tires. Gortman had about 10 lap older tires from that pit stop. He goes to the front, and here comes Maciejewski. Here comes Miles. But Gortman going to fight up there on that top side. 31 to go. Telder back on pit road, unscheduled pit stop for him as he's just trying to gain some track position. Caution out, Ben Pierce. Turned into the outside wall, it looks like, for the 94. Tough break for the driver who just took the wave around now and unfortunately has pancaked the wall, and the Alt F4 button has come into play. So Pierce, he and a former teammate, I believe there, Chris Evans, coming together. Gagnon goes around that, and caution comes out again. Missed a tough situation once again where New Hampshire comes into play. And that's actually going to be a big break for those who just had to take the wave around. That'll get them back in this race. And I do want to point this out. One driver that actually kind of caught a break with this whole lap car wave around non-extending yellow deal was Peyton Johnson, because he was able to restart ahead of all the cars that took the wave around. And actually is only in the 8th position now. So he could have been back near Lucas Gortman and those guys at 20th right now as they come off pit road. So this kinda was a best of bad situations for that 15 car. So we'll start to watch him as he'll have an opportunity to race these other cars, as he's been, I mean, you can almost argue the fastest car out here tonight. So as expected, New Hampshire been kind of interesting. We've had our wrecks, we've had our strategies, we've had cars everywhere in the grid. And coming down to these last, what's going to be about 25 laps when we go green, I have a feeling the intensity here is going to really ratchet up, and you're going to see cars start to make desperate moves. And you look at some of these names that are up here in the top 5 right now. You see Miles there in 3rd. Diego Sainz having a great run there in the 4th position. How about the Shane Matthews band there in the 88 car running 6th? Jacob Thornton in that Mustang there, that number 11, made some contact early in the race. He's up in 7th now. And there you see Peyton up to 8th, as I believe we just got the 1 to go mark. So we'll actually go green with 26 to go. Tanyan Sutphin, who was involved a little bit in an accident, actually the Joey Ladisor wreck. He's up in the 9th position now. Brandon Alphin back to 10th. So Fontaine hanging out here in 12th now. So a lot of fast cars still got to get up here through the field. So like I said, I think you're going to see a little bit of desperation coming in here, I think, and some aggressive racing. And there's one thing I still have not had a chance to do yet tonight. I haven't even had a chance to do it all week. So I'm going to do it here. And I hope I don't regret it. But turn those speakers up as we turn it up from New Hampshire. a fender on the track. And Brian Sutphin also around as we continue with the Turn It Up segment. Lucas Strayer continuing to lead this race, and I am like trying hard not to laugh out loud right now. As Miles putting a bumper to Sutphin, to Strayer. As we lead with 22 laps to go in this race. I'll get you back to see this replay before somebody yells at me in chat. And it looks like 39 into the 26, hard into the wall. Yeah, some people have no patience there, Joe. Anyways. That's Jesky blinking out again? Yep. Well, Brandon having some blinking issues. And speaking of the other Brandon, 7th place Brandon Alphin battling with Peyton Johnson here, as Peyton has not moved anywhere since the restart of this race. As up front, it's Strayer by 3/10, who's got Miles there behind him, and now 3 wide off of 2. As Thornton slides up the track and allow the 15 to go by, now Brandon going to try to get down there to him. But not going to be able to complete the pass, so Peyton up to the 6th position here. How about Alex Bryson having a great run into battle for 2nd? Maciejewski inside of Miles. Brandon cleared him. Oh, and Miles gets into the back of him. Good save on both parts. I think Miles got out of the gas to purposely let him catch it. And he actually just cued the mic and said, "My bad." As look at the 38 car of Alex Bryson having a great run tonight, AB. 16 laps to go in this Whiteriver LLC 120. Big shout out to Mike Lemieux, who actually didn't start the race, but he was on the grid, I believe. And Mike's the, of course, owner of Whiteriver LLC, and I think I described him a little bit at Daytona. He's one of those guys. He puts his business name on something, not just to, put his name out there. It's more to support the league, and that's what he does. I had a conversation with Micah about a year ago, I think it was. And, he described that to me, how he doesn't do this to, get recognition for Whiteriver. He does it to support the league, and that's kind of a cool thing is, modifieds are pretty popular around this neck of the woods of New Hampshire, and there's Telder in a modified. Getting out of the way of the leaders. As the battle here is Bryson under attack from Peyton now. Strayer out 0.7 of a second right now on Brandon here as we come to 13 laps to go. Hard to fathom the fact that probably the two guys who have blinked the most here this evening are actually leading this race, first and second. I'm going to start blinking in races and then all of a sudden stop blinking mid-race and see how I do. And what I mean by blink is, they're lag and stuff like that, obviously. Most people know that, but for those who don't. As Fontaine up to the 8th position as he about runs over Thornton, as that allows Dalton to drive it in there pretty deep. It's a good little fight here. 5 cars under a blanket for the 7th position. Anytime I hear the name Thornton, I think of the movie Quiet Man with John Wayne. He plays the role of a guy named Sean Thornton. Great movie to watch, especially around St. Paddy's Day. Oh, a little contact there. Not sure who the 11 got inside to. I couldn't tell if it was Fontaine or the 88, but he got kicked sideways. And that allows Matthews to go by, and here comes Gortman. Meanwhile, Brandon's down there, as I mentioned, near Boston, trying to make a pass on the apron. Yeah, that groove works in real life, and I don't know if on iRacing it's going to help him any. As he tries 3 wide, here comes, I got to get this one out of the way, Sean Petchin. Got to cover my mispronunciation of Sean's last name real quick. As he slides her wide in that Peach and Hut car. Which, by the way, Sean's going to love this. There's an actual Pizza Hut right across the street from where I live here. On Wednesday nights, they do the all-you-can-eat buffet still. One of these Wednesdays, I'm going there. I'm all about the buffet back in the day at Pizza Hut. That's some good eating. Since I haven't found a CC's or a Stevie B's lately. As Strayer continues to lead with 9 laps to go. Outside of Brandon's name, you tell me whose names I've been screwing up then. Somebody downshifting the third. I can hear the high revs. So can Brandon get to Lucas Strayer here? It's down to 0.4 of a second. I think C-Fix starts in like 5 minutes, by the way, Clark. No, you missed it. Anyways, Strayer going around a lap car there. The 49 is Simonson, who's going to test the Chastain line out, see how that works. As Brandon going to battle for the lead here to the inside. Five to go as Brandon last week made the charge late in the race, finished second at Iowa to Sutphin. Now he's making his late race charge and going to go to the inside of Strayer for the lead. I told him he'd have to give me the whole season to get his name right. He's told me it twice, but I probably am not going to get it right, but look right behind these two. Here comes arguably the car that's been the one to beat. Oh, almost leaning on each other there. Strayer got him loose on entry. Here comes Peyton. Oh, he clears himself. Three laps to go. And caution is out. It looks like Dalton Carter maybe went around, or was it Devin? Hello, GLSR overtime. Let's see if I can find the actual... Oh, right there, yep. Josh Gagnon into the back of Dalton. Gagnon did apologize, but still. And Josh just slid right up into him. How Clark of him. Has caution out for the 7th time, and we got some cars coming to pit road. Please tell me these guys are short on fuel. Otherwise, why are we pitting? Alphin, Miles, Gagnon, Ingram, Carter, and Pluff. I think Alphin's pitting because he, remember, he didn't take tires on his last stop. Now, in all seriousness here for a second, I'm going back to what I remember. I think it's Macichewski, I believe is how he actually told me it's pronounced. But I should write it down somewhere. I will easily give him credit. It's the hardest name I've ever had to pronounce out of all the iRacing names. Yeah, that's my guess, is that they did not have enough fuel to make it to the end. Alphin, I believe, took tires. Is that Massachusetts? Sometimes that's how you got to do it when you get to pronounce a name in any kind of sports. You just got to put it phonetically, like Telder just did for me. It's the first time I think Telder's ever helped me with something. On the stream, at least. Thank you, Telder, for being nice enough to actually help me instead of criticizing me. Coming to the green. Massachusetts inside of Strayer. Johnson there third. Bryson Diego signs. Are we done wrecking? I'll let y'all figure that one out. Green flag coming out. Strayer, who was very down on himself on the caution there. Not a good restart. Brandon with a pretty good one. Here comes Peyton to the inside. 4 wide back there, I believe, off 2. And wrecking. Tanyan Sutphin turned. Miles goes to the grass to miss. Sutphin, or I'm sorry, that's Tanyan Sutphin. Midkiff involved. And Thornton looks like getting a piece of it. And the 39 looks like with some heavy damage, and I want to make sure these two weren't saying hi to each other here. Let's see as we roll that beautiful bean footage. Alphin with an outside line sender. That's where the 4 wide came in. What a move by Alphin. Holy cow, he made some passes there. And the 11 turns a 7. Add Gagnon to the list of those involved. I mean, Brandon Alphin went straight Alex Rossi just now on the outside. And that's one of those, I think the 7 come up the track thinking he wasn't 4 wide or whatever, and Brandon was still there, so Thornton had to hold his line. How about this restart? Let's go on board with Brandon Alphin here. Watch this. He goes straight Alex Rossi a la Indy 500 here. The old Kyle Busch move. Go where they ain't. He passed 4 cars doing that. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to go look at the rule book real quick because I do have it up. Just so I can learn this thing all the way through. 2 attempts at a green-white checker, so this is going to be it. This restart here going to be brought to you by the Boxing Ring. Catch all the action post-race in the boxing ring if you're a member of Discord. If not, sucks for you. So Massachusetts and Strayer and Johnson and Bryson and Gortman. How about Lucas getting back to the top 5? He's actually got the freshest tires out of the bunch up here. Jason Dalton 6, Sam Fontaine, Diego Sainz, Sean Peachin, Shane Matthews. Your top 10, I should say Alfin and Miles, 11th and 12th after coming back to pit road. But again, this is the final green-white checker here, so this is it. Can we get back to the white flag, or do we junk it off turn 2? Brandon gets a good restart. So did the 15 on the inside. But Strayer got through the gears better. Everybody good through 3 and 4. Almost 4 wide off the corner. Peachin squeezes Miles into the wall. Final lap. Brandon Massachusetts made his appearance last week in Iowa and had a late charge, fell up a spot short. Tonight, though, he is going to pull it off. His second start in the series in the Whiteriver LLC 120 goes to Brandon Massachusetts of New Hampshire. Strayer second. Peyton Johnson finishes third. Something tells me there's a guy going to be fighting for a championship maybe at the end of the series. That's pretty impressive so far. The old Polish victory lap there for the 93 as we take a look at the final results. As Brandon wins it by 0.3 of a second over Strayer. Peyton Johnson might have been the fastest car here tonight, but unfortunately falls to third. Alex Bryson fourth, Jason Dalton fifth, Lucas Gortman ends up sixth, Sam Fontaine seventh. The fresh tires of Stephen Miles comes back to eighth with Diego Sainz 9th, Brandon Alfin comes back to 10th, Sean Peachin 11th, Shane Matthews 12th, Dalton Carter 13th, with Cedric Ingram 14th, and Josh Gagnon ending up the top 15 with Lucas Simonson 16th, Chris Evans 17th, and Richard Midkiff in the 18th position. 19th going to Jacob Thornton, Devin Ramsey 20th, Alex Cummings 21st. Good comeback for him considering his whole entire rear end was missing at one point. Tyler Pluff 22nd, Tanyan Sutphin 23rd, with Brian Sutphin 24th, Ben Pierce, Joey Ladisseur, Matt Telder, Sam Barnes finishing 28th. 29th to Jason Stewart, Jacob Clayton 30th, Matt Erickson 31st, Andrew Wyatt 32nd. The Dean Machine, they're 33rd. Cam Ingram, 34th. Drift in 35th. Andrew Miller finishing 36th, unfortunately involved in that lap 1 accident. As for Mike Lemieux, he's a sponsor of the race, so I will not come up with any kind of comedic joke of where he might have gotten lost at or something. So thank you, Mike, for your sponsorship. As he's still celebrating out here. And boom goes the dynamite. As we'll talk to our top 3 finishers. And that's starting with the 3rd place finisher, Peyton Johnson, who, led some laps tonight, thought might be the car to beat here. And he definitely showed he was the man tonight, needless to say. I know it didn't work out his way, had some weirdness there with that caution, but in the end, it kind of helped you a little bit because of the restart, and in front of everybody, you got their lap back. But still, man, that just falling up a little bit short there. Just a lot of things seem to work against you tonight, but still to be able to lead some laps and know that you might have been the fastest car tonight had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think long run, I definitely had the fastest car. It's, sucks being so disappointed with the 3rd place finish. This is a tough league, a lot of good drivers, but yeah, I wanted the win for sure. I think if it had gone green or I hadn't gotten caught on pit road, it would have been a little bit different, because when I would get out front, I would, put a second on the field. So.
Well, it was working out. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Oh, no, just disappointing.
No,
but a great race, clean racing up front, just a lot of great drivers in this league.
No, absolutely. And I guess it's okay when you're disappointed finishing 3rd.
It's better than disappointing finishing 23rd, I can tell you that.
That's what I'm used to. So what's it like finishing? No, but no, I mean, obviously to have a great finish like that, and I know you've had an up and down so far start to the season here. So does this kick off some momentum? I know we go to a dirt track next week, which is kind of an anomaly, but does it kind of get you going a little bit here, maybe to have a good season?
Yeah, I got in some issues in Daytona, top 10 last week, top 5 this week. The win will come, I think. Looking forward to Rockingham and Bristol, the other short tracks. So, good schedule for me. I'm not a great dirt driver, so I'll probably just be mid-pack and just hoping that I make it to the the feature next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole nother monster, especially seeing this car on a dirt track, which I could find interesting. So, well, great job tonight, man. Congrats on the 3rd place finish, and good job checking all your tires. And send a shout out to whoever you like to.
Thanks. I want to thank you for putting on the show. I mean, you do a great job. Thank the league. I don't really want to thank myself. I'm happy to sponsor this league. Like I said before, a lot of great drivers. It's a competitive and fun league, and glad to be back.
Should I call him Big Daddy Cool after the old Diesel wrestler back in the heyday? Big Daddy
fun.
Cool, Peyton Johnson finishing in the 3rd position tonight, man. Congrats, man. Good job.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
Absolutely is. Johnson finishes 3rd, and the guy that is beating himself up a little bit here, but I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of as he gets another top 3 finish. And sometimes you got to get those close finishes to become more consistent to when it comes to being in victory lane and stuff. And that's Lucas Strayer, who finishes in the 2nd position tonight in that 41 car. Obviously, Lucas, you took advantage of a lag situation, if you will. Took fresh tires, worked your way back up through the field, and put yourself in a position to get the win tonight, just coming up a little short.
Dude, I need CPR because after these past 2 weeks, I've been choking so much. Oh, it hurts. But yeah, no, so the lag situation was kind of a weird thing because I actually stayed out there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to run 3rd. I'm going to get freight trained, but at least I'll just ride around. And it started lagging, so I didn't want to mess anyone else's race up, so I pulled off. Went to the back, and then luckily that caution came out, so I'm like, oh, I'll take fresh tires, and then drove back up to the front, and then I actually had enough fuel to end. Me and Brandon both did, so we were both kind of eyeing each other up, like, okay, this is who we're racing for the win. And then that caution came out, and then it once again became like, okay, this is who we're racing for the win now. We're on equal terms. And yeah, I was worried about Miles in the beginning. I know Miles is super quick, so I was worried about him. Then he dropped off. I see Brandon coming. I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard. And once again, I'll get there. Yeah, I'll get there. But yeah, this Grit Marketing spoiler diecast car was super fast. As you know, it's breast cancer month. Breast cancer awareness month, and I'm running a pink car. I have my mom on the name rail because she is a breast cancer survivor. So that's cool. But I'm hoping I'm giving you some good shows out there because these past 2 weeks, they've been fun.
Hey, it's not about me here. It's about you and the viewers. To me, I'm just like the middleman there. But you've done a great job, obviously, finishing in the top 3. You still get to go enjoy some adult beverages. And you still got, obviously some momentum here as you go to Eldora next week. And, some good stuff coming in the near future, man. So, obviously, congrats on your second place finish. And send some shout-outs whoever you like to.
Oh, I kind of said it earlier. So the only one left is our wonderful broadcaster, Chris Scala here on Captain Esports Network. The best place to watch your races. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe.
Thank you. Your money's in the mail. And all the best, obviously, to Mom. And obviously good to hear her being a survivor, and obviously nothing but the best in the future. So great job, man. And stop blaming your girlfriend for the blinking, by the way.
She was she told me she was streaming Hulu at one point and streaming.
Yeah, well, we wonder why you're blinking.
Hey man, it cleared up pretty fast. I don't know, it might be something in this area. It's always around 9 o'clock, so maybe I can try to use that as an advantage next week.
Yeah, what was she watching?
I don't know. I think Seinfeld.
Good man, good woman there. So, all right, enjoy the rest of your night, bud.
I will. See ya.
There you go. Lucas Strayer finishing in the second position. Safe to say Hulu was causing him to have issues tonight. So there you go. Self-plug there for you, Hulu, I guess. All right, let's get our winner up here. And it took Telder literally what do they call? Of course, I lose the term in my head. He wrote it out for me to get your name right at the end of the race so I can make sure I got it right. So Brandon, great job. And welcome to Victory Lane. And as long as you make the rest of the starts here, man, you're in the playoffs.
Hey, let's go, man.
Let's go. Pretty exciting, I would say, to only be out here in your second start. And again, another late charge, just like last week at Iowa, except you kept yourself a little closer this time. Talk about the past and what you had to do to kind of put yourself in position.
Yeah, so before we got that caution before the green-white checker, we did a lot of saving to get there to try and do the battle, and then the caution came out, and we were good on fuel to the end. I think me and Strayer were both going to be slugging it out. I don't know if I had enough tire to get around him if it stayed green, but once we got that caution, we were able to battle pretty good there.
Well, obviously, cautions were playing some roles, and I know at one point tonight you were one of the last cars to go get off your first set of tires, and I know that kind of hurt you a little bit. Was that more of a strategy to help you at the end of the race?
Yeah, I just wanted to have the set at the end, just in case when that first caution came out, like around lap 22, 23, I knew we weren't going to make it on fuel. So I wanted to save the set just in case we had something late race, and we ended up not taking tires on the green-white checker. So we were able to still have the pace in it, and fighting through the field, we just had to be really cautious not to burn off the tire and try not to get ourselves in any kind of trouble or end anybody else's races on a bad mistake. So just kind of kept our head down, plugged away.
So just checking real quickly, you are what, lap 1 legends, right?
Yes.
You were with Telder. So how's it feel to be like the 5th different driver to win a race in that team, and it's not Telder being one of them?
Oh man, he's probably going to give me some stuff tonight.
He'll get over it.
He told me to get into practice early, and I unfortunately getting my daughter down for bed and everything. I didn't get out here enough.
Wait a minute, the guy
practice and work with him.
The guy that never shows up until like 5 minutes before qualifying actually told you to get into practice early?
Yeah, he wanted some extra laps and some pointers trying to get fast. I love running New Hampshire. I love these flat tracks, and I love what it takes to kind of keep the car going fast later on in the runs. So.
Well, great job tonight, in all seriousness.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man.
We put on a show. That's what we come here to do. We put on the show for everybody watching in the broadcast, and it's cool to see everybody watching it. And once I go back and rewatch, I'll probably rewatch it tonight. But it's a great broadcast for everybody out there watching. Go rewatch it again.
Well, enjoy the botching of your name for a little bit, but send some shout outs wherever you like to.
Again, we always gotta thank the wife, because without her letting me do this, obviously we wouldn't be here. So, but thanking everybody and the sponsors, DRT, Downrange Transport, for coming on and supporting the series, and obviously the Captain Esports Network over on YouTube. Make sure you go check them out. It's pretty cool. And shout out to Telder for bringing me on so I could beat him this race.
Get used to it. Anyways, great job tonight, man. And I'm actually going to hang on him here in a second, so he'll enjoy me picking on him. But congrats on the win. And yeah, welcome to Victory Lane at GLSR. Welcome to the playoffs. And we'll talk next week on dirt in a B car. Kind of interesting.
That'll be fun, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
You too, buddy. And that is the winner tonight. And I think I've got it. Brandon Massachuski.
Machieski.
That was not what Telder said.
Massachusetts is a state, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty close, isn't it? Machieski.
Machieski.
So the CI
There you
is a
go.
cha. Machieski.
Yep.
I'm going to go write that down. Anyways, Samsonite, I was way off. Good job tonight, man.
Appreciate it, man.
You
Have a
too,
good
bud.
night.
You too. That is Brandon Machieski. Sometimes it takes 3 times to try it to get it right. So I will probably get it wrong again next week. So anyways. Oh, as I cut him off. What was that? Sorry.
You can say my name 3 times. I'm not going to come through your bathroom mirror. I promise.
That might be a little creepy.
It would be a little creepy. It is Halloween.
Now I'm getting visuals of Chucky again. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. Thanks, man. Good job, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Brandon Machieski. Not Massachusetts. What? Come on, Teller. Anyways, all right, let's head out. Great job tonight, guys. As again, next Wednesday it is back to Eldora for some dirt racing. That was actually the original dirt race in this series back in the truck days, so it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing those like Alex Cummings and Sam Fontaine and Telder, believe it or not, good on dirt. A lot of good dirt guys in this league, so it should be a lot of fun watching that race come next week. But I get to go do the rest of the week in Talladega like I've done the first 2 days, so we get to go from there. As we appreciate everybody watching. And remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!